I started when I was 10 years old. Yeah, so it's a long time ago. But yeah, actually, we always been in budo sports like judo and hapkido, and then my parents decided to move to a bigger city, and then they couldn't, there was no place to where they teach well, something like hapkido, and then we switched to aikido. But actually, it's a very long story, but I try to keep it short because back that days there were no yeah at that time there were no kids classes, so it was for us a little bit more complicated to start aikido.
Mm.
But the teacher who was nearby our house, he actually invited us, and so we had our first class and with all the adults. And because we were very serious and we really wanted to train aikido, he said, "Okay, if the adults are okay, then you can start practicing aikido." So we started actually with the adults. So that's my beginning of aikido. It was a bit different, Normally you start in a kids group or training with your own age. For me, it was totally different. Yeah, it was a good experience, but totally different. And about
Well,
you?
uh, almost similar. I started when I was in the fourth grade with an adult
Uh-huh.
group at college, but I didn't continue. I was only there for a month, and I don't know if you remember, there was a TV show called Shogun, and it was coming
Uh-huh.
on, and that, so I wanted to stay and watch that TV show instead of going through Aikido class. So
Wow.
my dad said, "Oh, you can't. Well, you watch this TV show, then you have to quit because these guys are going to progress, and you're now delaying them." So my beginning of Aikido started for 1 month and stopped, but then I started again in college. I guess I officially started once as a freshman in college when I had just turned 19, so almost a
Hmm.
decade after you did.
Okay.
Yeah, so it was just that. But
What kind of aikido did you start?
I don't know. When I was a little, it was just my first teacher was a Japanese Canadian who was living in Texas working on his PhD.
Hmm.
He was kind of eccentric. I always remember him. I remember this one scene. He was walking up to the gym in his hakama,
Uh-huh.
cowboy hat, and cowboy boots, and so it
Oh,
was like,
really?
yeah,
Oh, that's awesome.
he was kind of crazy. And so his Aikido was more emphasized more of the application. So he was like, you do this, but you do this to break things, and you do this, and you okay. But then so you learn Aikido that way, but then you do the reading, and the reading was about Aikido is peaceful and harmony. But then you go to class and
Hmm.
oh, you do this, and you gouge the eyes out, and you go, oh,
It's so different.
yeah, a little different. And then from there, I moved to Austin, Texas for grad school and continued my Aikido there with a teacher named Joe Birdsong. But at both cases, in both places, we were under the guidance of Tori Sensei from Chicago. And
Yeah.
so I consider him like my first teacher, even though these were my
Hmm.
other teachers, they got me started. But Tori
Yeah.
Sensei, who I kind of followed first, I moved to Chicago to study with him.
That's really nice. Yeah, my first teacher was also someone around the corner, right? I think everyone has a story that you start in a local dojo. But soon after that, we became students of Christian Tiché, so we started training in more outside the Netherlands and also in Paris, as we were registered in his dojo.
Hmm.
So I also consider Christian Tiché more my first teacher than all the others that I had in between. Yeah, I think it's nice, right? If having such a great example to train in the beginning, it kind of shapes you already from the beginning in your aikido. That's really cool, I think.
Right. Exactly. I think so. It's interesting how we say that. Like there are our first teachers, and but then there are the teacher we choose. Like tonight, since they told me about that, it's like a teacher can't choose their students. The student
Hmm.
chooses the teacher. So I'm grateful for the people who started me off, who first like your first teachers, but then you choose your teacher. Like I chose Tori Sensei, then I chose Kanai Sensei. So, but it's funny how you say Tissier Sensei because I remember meeting you the first time. I think it was
Hmm.
2009 summer camp, and we thought we were told that you were Donovan or you students of Donovan, or Donovan said something like that. But then
Yeah.
I saw you do a technique. I go, that's very Tissé Sensei. Like, I go, I've seen that before, but that sounds interesting.
Yeah, old habits. You say that.
You have it's nice how you show. Oh, there's remnants of. Oh, I see influence of that person. Or I wonder if that. Yeah. It's interesting.
Yeah, it's true. It is. But after Tiché, we started training with Donovan. So it's true that when we came to the summer camp, that was our first summer camp, by the way, 2008, I think. That was our very first one. But yeah, it's we came as a student of Donovan, and during that summer camp, we became student of from Yamada Sensei. So that was kind of so it was a very nice surprise. You know, Yamada Sensei is someone to look up to. So even with Donovan, we had this great opportunity to train and learn a lot. But I feel with Yamada Sensei, it's even, you know, even more. You know, you have all those teachers around him, and you have all the options and possibilities to train with them. And Yamada is the center of all those great teachers, right? So it's amazing.
I agree. He's like an amazing facilitator. He just like he allows you to grow, and
Yeah.
like, and he just kind of it's like what you would they say there's a good teacher brings you up to here.
Mm-hmm.
Excellent teacher takes you and pushes you past. They would just want you to continue to grow past what they can do. Not saying
That's
that we
true.
don't ever pass the Yamada Sensei, but it's like they encourage you. They inspire you to improve on yourself. That makes sense.
No, it definitely makes sense. I think with Yamada Sensei, I also feel more myself. You know, that he gives you all your the space to develop, and not with all teachers you have the same feeling. But with Yamada Sensei, it's really awesome. You know, it's really great. I think it's very unique in this view. I think it's really good when you have someone who shows you the way, but not push you in the direction,
Yeah, the
and
idea. Yeah, it's
that's nice.
I like that. It's an interesting pedagogy. Where it's like I'm just going to inspire. I'm just going to show you this thing, but it's up to you to cultivate it. Yeah, it's no, it's a it's it may not bring up caliber quickly. I'm just speaking on my opinion from teaching, like because I also teach math, but like it may not bring up everyone up at the same level quickly, but it allows
Mhm.
for the individuals who want to pursue it. They
Mhm.
pursue more themselves. They don't become a cookie cutter of who you are. Like who wants to see
Yeah.
yourself again? Yeah,
So not copying everything that he
exactly.
showed. Yeah.
Yeah,
I think at the end it's very difficult, you know. Even for me, you know, I'm a female and I'm not very tall, if you know, as you know. So there are not many examples to really copy. And you know, even Yamada-san is very strong. So if I copy his technique, it will not stick. You know, my body is not used to this kind of power and in his hands and the movement. So I think you have to follow as you know the what he's trying to explain to you, you know, try to capture what's the meaning of the technique and try to make it your own, which is harder, of course. But I think at the end, that's why you don't have all these copies, because you always
right.
have unique personalities who train a certain way that Aikido really fits the body.
Right. No, I
So,
agree wholeheartedly. But I think that for me, it's the difficult line is like there is that progression where you need to follow, and then you start to kind of
yeah.
explore yourself. But the danger, maybe or danger, or the caution, is sometimes people start to explore too early, and then
Hmm.
get like kind of just
Yeah, disorganized.
yeah,
Yeah, they don't know what is. Yeah.
yeah. It's
Yeah.
not like it's like it was like when we talk about you can talk about food where like fusion food. Some people don't like fusion food. Or if you do combine Japanese and Italian, but if the quality
Hmm.
is bad, then it's confusion. But if you like
Yeah.
good quality, like you oh, there's a good
Yeah.
influence here. There's good. It's good quality stuff. Then it's a quality immersion, a quality fusion, as opposed to oh you look like that, you look like that, but there's no substance. That I don't know. So I think as I'm not being critical, but I sometimes feel that when people start off, they go, "Oh, I need to express. I need to be like this." Well, practice more basic, and then allow
Hmm.
yourself to grow. But it is hard to know when to break out because you could
That's
be on
true.
you can be on the other extreme and never break out and always be well.
In the
This teacher,
katas.
this
Yeah.
teacher does it this way. This teacher does it, and then go.
Hmm.
I remember Kanai Sensei saying, "When I die, my technique's gone." So people who say, "Oh, Kanai Sensei did it this way," you're doing what you think Kanai Sensei that you're doing. Kanai Sensei did it. Now you're
Hmm.
doing this. Yeah, you're doing
Hmm.
your interpretation. So,
Yeah.
but I don't know. It's interesting. It's an interesting study, huh? Aikido.
It is.
Yeah.
That's why we're having this talk, I guess.
What keeps you going on into it? What keeps you going?
Well, certainly, I think having the dojo is one of them, because it keeps you on track. You know, you keep yourself, you know, well, at least because I'm young, you know, my daily life can be very, you know, ups and downs, and all the social life and everything comes, yeah, it comes to you. But with the dojo, you always have a strict moment of training. You want to become better. You want to teach the others, so you also have to train. You know, on your, yeah, you keep training.
Hmm.
I think that's really important, um, and also the interest. You know, the other things that's crazy about Aikido. I think every Aikidoka feels the same way. It's about sharing. It's about traveling. It's about making friends all over the world. I love traveling. I love connecting to people that I didn't know before, and also seeing different kind of cultures. And so that's also one part of, yeah, keeping me going. I think it's both. You know, you need to keep practicing in the daily basis and in the week, and the other side is just exploring new things, and taking new advantage, or yeah, taking new try to see the world from different view, I think. Yeah.
Have you ever been discouraged by Aikido, or do you ever feel like, oh, I don't want to keep doing this?
Well, it goes always with ups and downs. To be
Yeah,
honest,
yeah.
I cannot say that was always like, woo, it's going skyrocket. That would be cool, but it doesn't happen. Yeah, I think you always have some time that you want to be more at home, and slow down. And then you always have times that you want to go out more, and train, and go to a lot of seminars, and it's just it goes with ups and downs. But it's never that I felt really like stopping with Aikido. I never felt like I really want to quit Aikido for a certain reason. I Even if I don't like always what I receive, you know, during teaching, or seminars, it always, I always see it from the positive side. So I always manage to see things from a positive learning curve, things that I say, okay, that's really interesting, really cool to investigate more, instead of saying, okay, something happens and it just bumps me out, you know, and then I just quit. No, so it keeps me going. How for you? I mean, you're doing this for so many years. How do you keep yourself going?
Yeah. So it's like that's a good question. I do it, and then I've been times where it's easier to do something else, but and then I can remember significant times when I want to kind of stop.
Mm,
And a couple of one was passing of Tori Sensei, and then the second
okay.
was passing of Kanai Sensei. I just like,
Mm,
maybe it's time to stop. Maybe it's time to. I've done it. I had my little time in it. My mom or my parents will say, "Oh, are you done playing Aikido yet? When are you going to actually have a life?
really?
When are you going to be adult?" So, but it's I guess it's when it like you feel like the sacrifice you could have been doing this, but then you know studying Aikido and doing this instead. I don't know. There have been times I've wanted to stop, but then
Mm,
at each time I get inspired back to come again to continue, and then
mm,
it's kind of I shared this story one time with Osawa Sensei. I told him one time I've been wanting to stop Aikido like 3 times, but then funny enough, each time he was there. He was either a seminar or an event, and I got inspired to continue. So
mm,
it's all about continue. It's like you need inspiration to continue. If you just keep doing it just for the sake of doing it, I think it gets kind of stale. Which is
mm,
I don't know. I get so I don't want to. People can you can do things just to kind of keep doing for routine, but
mm.
I think you need to have that inspiration still to have it
Yeah, definitely. Yeah,
have a fire to
you
it.
need the spark to keep you going, to
Right.
find
Yeah.
something that you can discover.
Yeah. I agree. Yeah. No. I agree.
Yeah. But I think it was also nice, the encouragement of all the people. You know, that's what I feel in the
Yeah.
dojo. You know, that you are accomplishing something together, and that's why you're pushing each other, right? I mean, it's inspiration of like Yamada Sensei, people who are far more advanced than you, and at the same time, it's the people more around you who keeps,
Yeah.
encouraging you to keep going and have fun and to enjoy the road. Because
Well,
if you're
definitely.
not, it's just very serious. But if you are with friends and also, all the things that happen in between, it's just a lot of fun. I
Yeah,
think
if you
that's,
do, if you focus only on yourself, it becomes a very lonely path. But I think
yeah.
that's well, like if you have a dojo, that you just start getting a community, then it's like
Mhm.
the community. It's a community in the dojo,
Yeah,
like you said,
definitely.
really, yeah. And your
Yeah.
responsibility changes as from student to teacher. So then,
Yeah, it's true. But I think having a dojo is it's of course a lot of responsibility, but it is also for you as a teacher. It's nice to have like the community that helps you also to grow and keep you growing, right? Keep you on
yeah,
track, keep training. Yeah, I think it's a lot of good things in there. Yeah.
yeah. No, it's funny. Aikido, it's not unique to Aikido. I don't think. I'm sure there are definitely other disciplines that cultivate this,
Mm-hmm.
but we just I guess we're attracted to Aikido for that reason, or I don't know. It's a conversation I always have with my friends, uh, and we kind of say, "Well, we don't, Aikido is not unique in this kind of nurture and cultivation of people, but why did we kind of get attracted to it?" And I have a friend, I don't know if you met him, but he's in Chicago, and he kind of says, "Well, Aikido is just a collection of misfits. It's people who don't really fit this thing, but they all just kind of get together and it's like we're all a little bit different in this, but we're different together here."
Well, that's a funny way of looking at it.
Yeah, well,
I mean, I don't mind. I like to be, something not fitting in, in
yeah, we're
anything.
not fitting in here, but we kind of fit here together. Even though
Yeah.
we don't, but we're misfits. I don't know, like,
Well, it's true because we are not a sport, so we don't fit in that box.
uh,
So yeah, I think Aikido is something special. That's for sure. That's
yeah,
for sure. Yeah.
yeah.
So what do you experience? You travel a lot as well. Do you have some countries where you feel like you are for your training, it's more challenging than other countries? Are there some countries that you really love going there for your own teaching training?
I don't know. I think I like. Well, I'm not trying to be diplomatic, but I enjoyed it. I enjoy it all. But there are different challenges and different. Uh, I like going to South America because it's like practicing with a giant puppy. Everyone they're just so hungry to learn, and it's like
Yeah.
they're very sincere, and they're it's just fun because they're hungry to learn. And
Hmm.
going to Europe, Aikido I guess has been there a little longer, and they may be more refined to the point of maybe too strict that I think it must be this way. So you kind of
Hmm.
I don't know how to describe it, but it's like it's refined. So you trying to keep that same quality with them, but
Hmm.
then but I think also they need to kind of see it's
It's more
in that
flexible.
exchange they kind of say, there's another way.
Hmm.
I remember visiting a dojo in Europe, and they were very proud of how they do things. So
Uh-huh.
so you would train, and then you go, oh, I can do that too, and it's just keep that same caliber. And once you
Hmm.
hit that caliber with them, they go, oh, it's
Yeah.
yeah, you're also good, and how are you doing it as opposed to my way's the only way. Does that make
I
sense?
think it's also what you see with the Shihans, like Osawa Sensei or Yamada Sensei going to Europe. Well, of course, Yamada Sensei has his own group as well here, so it's different. But definitely, like Osawa Sensei, you see them going back to the basics, right? Going back, like, this is another version of what you have been told all these years. That's fine. But now we are looking and going back, like, okay, this is the showman that I like to see. And Yamada Sensei is also always about basics.
Yeah, no, it's about the
Always like
quality as
have a
well.
strong position, have a strong technique, and yeah, I think it's really great. I think I don't know how it is. Well, of course, I know I know a little bit, but you traveled more in USA than I did. um, I can see in Europe that they stick to the basic. Is it also in the USA that they always stick to the basic, or are they more free?
I think there's maybe more freedom. I think people, I can't say, but this is from my observation. Well, there's a people enjoy the fun techniques, which is nice. Everybody enjoys the fun techniques, the big extra
throwing ones.
extra moves, extra
Yeah.
things. But I think when you're younger, you kind of like that. But then for myself, I kind of, as I continue practicing, I enjoy more. How good is your Ikkyo? How good is your Imanage? How good is your Tenkan? It's like, instead of like having a donut with a bunch of stuff on it, I want a very good baguette. Just a simple piece of bread that's
like
that
a
is
French
good.
one, right?
Yeah, like good quality across the board, as opposed to something. Oh, let's put more stuff on it, and now it's nice. Yeah,
it looks nice. Yeah, but
it's nice.
inside it's not great.
No,
Yeah.
it's a donut as opposed to a nice piece of bread, nice rice. I actually said that comparison one time to a teacher. I was like, I want good quality stuff to be like good rice, good curry, and he goes, "You call my technique curry?" Oh, it's just an analogy, and he's like, I don't understand.
Yeah, it's good you didn't tell him that he was a curry.
Yeah, it's spicy, sensei.
Yeah, but I think it's great to train. I mean, I travel, especially last couple years. I traveled a lot. Going. We saw each other in Mexico, for example. It's so different, and that's why I wanted to travel to see different cultures, different way of practice. It's so much fun, and also you learn a lot. And to see Yamada Sensei in Mexico, it was fun. It was really cool. That before that was in Chile. It was also very nice. You can see, when he's surrounded by his group, with his own people, you see him more relaxed. He's very, open, and he starts sharing, making jokes on the mat. Once in a while, he's just making fun. And then you have also the other seminars that he goes to because he has to, because he's really, one of the kinds in these days. And then he really has to teach basics, and he's more helping the people, right? He's more there for helping the people who are more advanced, and grading and stuff like that, to make sure that Aikido remains in a good quality. So I can see the difference of the seminars also in Europe, where he's going for Tamura Sensei's organization, or he's with his own group, I don't know if it's also in the USA, but it's definitely more, I think, in Europe that he.
Yeah, it's a different kind of. That's interesting. Did you first met him in summer camp in America, in the US?
Yeah, I did. It was really awesome.
How's that?
We were not expecting it. Of course, most people know my brother and I started at the same time, so we went to the summer camp, and it was amazing experience because there were so many people, and not just because it's crowded, but it's so many shihans in different way of practicing, right? And the quality was so overwhelmed, because we have never saw so many high ranked people in one spot, right? So you always have like shihans, we have really great people in Europe, but they always divided to different places. And here in summer camp, everybody came to one place. And then you see Yamada Sensei opening the door, and then you see his presence. It's really cool to experience that in some way, that you can see that what Yamada Sensei have built, and what he created. That's something that reminds me of how it should be, right? How you want to build a community that everybody can be himself, and different people, like we talked already. So that was for me Yamada Sensei's my first experience with Yamada Sensei. And then after the training, we spoke a little bit, because it was the first time we met him, right? And I think one of the cool thing of Yamada Sensei is also he recognizes you, right, by name, by, if you, of all the 400 people in a seminar and you're not there, he noticed, right? So next time he will tell you that you were not there. It's so cool. And even
there's something uncanny about that.
Yeah, right. I mean, it's amazing. At his age, he's awesome by really being involved with his students. So that was my first experience. It's the first experience was really summer camp, and yeah, it was it was really awesome. Yeah, if you never experienced before, then it's really awesome.
Yeah, no, That's cool.
And for you,
He does have a photographic memory. Like he can remember everybody. Yeah.
yeah, he remembers everyone.
Yeah.
But when was the first time that you met Yamada Sensei?
Uh, well, I went to his dojo when I was training in Texas, and I was a third year. I just remember I called the dojo, and he picked up, and I was like, trying to be very formal, and he goes, just come, and he just hung up the phone. So I showed up the dojo, and I walked in with my shoes. He goes, take your shoes off, and then I don't remember what else, but he taught a class. But I remember this class in New York Aikai. It was packed, and then they did Funakogi Undo first, and it was just loud. No, maybe that morning class, but no, the class he taught, but he was teaching, and it was just packed, and all of a sudden the mat just did this, it's packed, and there was Shimada Sensei in the middle doing Inunage, and he would throw, and then I could swore he caught the person on the way down, and I was like, but that was my first impression, and then he came by, threw me one time just to kind of like to be nice, because I knew I was visiting, and then that was it. But I met him a couple of other times. I guess the first time I really had an interaction was Toy Sensei had passed away, and he had come for the funeral and stuff. And then I was kind of trying to keep my mind off things. So I went to France for the summer camp that he did in Lesnevan, and I was there, and he recognized me. And then I was staying in the dorms. There was you remember Lesnevan in the dorms? It was very gray and dark. So, but he would have me come to his house to cook, to do the dishes and cut the garlic, but then feed me. So it was nice. But then so I was there helping do the dishes, and then I'll get fed, and he's an excellent cook. And I'll go back to the dorms, and then the next day practice, go over, do the dishes, and then get fed. And it was always and then it was funny. I was trying to figure out. He was asking me. He was very concerned, like, "How you getting back to Paris? How you doing this?" And because the train's very expensive here. You go with this truck, but it was like I went with the truck because I had to watch his luggage. His luggage made it to the hotel. It was fun. It was like, here, he's doing your favor, but you're doing him a favor too. So
yeah, it's true. That's true. Yeah. I mean, traveling around Europe with Yamada Sensei always makes. I don't know if you remember the early mornings having breakfast with him. I mean, always it's like you think you're on time, but he's always a little bit earlier. So you have to put your clock always like 15, half hour earlier than you think you will wake up, right? It's like
I know. Like, it always starts fighting. Like it's like an ongoing game. Like we know, okay, when's he gonna start? I can't see that. You see, everyone's kind of anticipating. Okay, and then he'll step on and say, it's early.
Yeah, and everybody is like closed eyes, like it's still very early.
Yeah.
It's true. But do you see a difference between the younger version of Yamada Sensei and now? How?
Basically, he's like Yamada Sensei. Everyone ages, and everyone's like,
Of course.
but you can see that it's still a quality movement. This quality is not like it's. Well, sure, he's older and he's slowed down, but he's working with like issues with his lungs and stuff like that. But it's amazing to see. It's like a growing old gracefully. There's not this. Yeah. Well, I saw my teacher like Torsten say I saw a decline because he died from cancer, and then Kanai Sensei too. You saw his death was more abrupt, but you saw it. No, it's just I don't know how he does it. He travels nonstop, and you can see him constantly maintaining a quality of being.
Yeah. That's really cool. That's really cool. I mean, I see him, of course, some difficulties with his lungs during classes, but other than that, when you train with him, you attack him in front, you don't feel the difference. I mean, I don't know how he was like when he was really younger. For sure, he was very strong, but it still feels very strong, right? I mean, he still throws you like you are like nothing, very yeah. Yeah. So it's really cool.
No, there's still explosion of power. You go, what did that come from?
Yeah, exactly. But also one of the things I like in his classes is intensity of training, because you know the transition from Tichet going to Yamada Center. One of the things was like the training was more intense, was more focused on the training itself and less of the explanation, because we were always taught very technical, you know how to approach the technique, and here it was training, right? Really training. So you were doing a technique for 15 minutes. And so after the training for 1.5 hour, then you feel like you train for 2 hours. You always feel like you train more. So that's one of the things that I really enjoyed. And also how he builds the technique or the class, right? He goes up and then you can a little bit rest and then it's really.
No, it's like a classical piece. Like it builds you up and then it lets you gain and builds you up again. Yeah, no, I agree.
Exactly, and I never felt anything, with any other sensei. I think this is really unique as well for me, For I think his training is it's has this intensity of the training, but at the same time the enjoyment, right? It gives he also allows you to relax on the right time, and then you need to train again. So he doesn't expect you to go full in and then you crash, but he makes sure that you can make it at the end of the training.
Yeah, no, true, definitely so. No, yeah, it's a yeah, it's a I don't know, it makes you want to keep coming back. Yeah, doesn't burn you out, doesn't discourage you, it just kind of keeps you okay. I can do this. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's do you try these things in your dojo as well? I mean, do you try to apply these things you learn from your teachers to?
Yeah, definitely so. Yeah, it depends on the class. Like I for my I guess development role, as I noticed as I progressed in Aikido, there's teaching your curriculum and then there's teaching the class, and it's more I feel more I now teach the class. I don't go in and say, oh, we're going to do this, this, and this, because then it becomes
unnatural.
Yeah, it's not natural. Whereas you go in, okay, you focus on the basic and you teach the class, and then you see, oh, this class needs maybe this, or this student needs this. So then you can raise up that basic. Yeah. Advanced technique is okay. Boom. What people say, can we do advanced technique? Oh, advanced technique, I'll hold tighter. Can you do, that's an advanced technique. I'll attack faster. That's an advanced technique now.
Yeah.
You manage that. So
yeah. I also still, because you have also different influence, right? In your dojo, which one do you see more? Is it more like Yamada Sensei work on the basic, or do you do the flying techniques more kanai, or maybe a mix? But
I do a mix. I go in. I'm like Tori Sensei for me taught me geometry. This is how you draw this line. Kanai Sensei taught me physics. He goes, okay, this is how you give power. This is how you give power. Well, Sawa Sensei is teaching me jazz. So all right, how do I make it work? And Yamada Sensei is like, he's allowing for growth. He just supports. Yes. He goes, okay. And he's never really given technical feedback. He might kind of suggest something, but he's never given me direct technical feedback kind of thing. So from that, I've learned just how he teaches. So I'm learning pedagogy, and I also learned it from Osawa because I like the way it's focused on details, but then allow yourself and then allow free movement. I think it's you take what's good from all sorts of people.
Definitely.
You only take the good.
Yeah, I also remember in the past I trained with Tichet and Bruno Zanotti, and Bruno Zanotti was more on the uke, in the nage, and he was strong ki and heavy, and that kind of work. And with Yasuno was the same. And then Tichet was more on the tori, was more the technical side, doing everything in the right way. It depends on how you look at it, of course, but more focus on the technique that it works in a good way. I think it's nice if you have like complementary teachers, right? It's not just one way. It's just everything together combines. It's really a strong Aikido. And I think that's really awesome.
So. I think you need to be well traveled. You need to be well rounded. Like if you stay too much here, it's only good here. That's supposed to just. I think that's why Aikido is nice for you need to travel to seminars. You need to travel to kind of experience other people. Otherwise, you get very isolated. Yeah.
That's true. Yeah. And do you have like a fun moment? We already discussed some of them, but do you have like a fun moment with Yamada Sensei?
There are many of them. I don't know.
Probably many of them, right?
Oh, I remember one time it was in France. It was not the first seminar or first camp, but it was the one of the camps. And I was like, he said Yamada Sensei would have like parties. Like one night would be the Spanish group would come out, and one night would be the French group. And I think it might have been either the Spanish group or the French group, but I don't remember. There's Francesco was teaching me how to drink cognac at that thing at that evening. So I think I had one too many, and there was time to everybody was time for everyone to leave. So it was my turn to kind of clean the table. Well, every night my turn to clean the table. But then the table was there, and then Yamada Sensei said, "Okay, time to clean it." I go, we'll do it in the morning because I was drunk. We'll do it later. Don't worry. But he was in good spirits. He knew that I just had one too many. So he's okay, as long as it gets done. But so like I was like, I'm telling you, I said, we'll take care of it later. But it was like I got a little too familiar at that moment.
Well, that's better than I have. Well, it's not mine, but in Bernau you also have the Polish people, and they like to drink as well. And then one of them, I call it in front, right? And he was doing kaitenage and made some extra rounds. So that could have been you, but I think this is better.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really nice. This involvement. I remember that we were with the group in Brussels, and we're just sitting outside having a lunch, and then all of a sudden you just sit down, right? He just came and just sit down and just enjoy until somebody calls him again, of course. But it's just it's nice when he's there and follow him during the seminars, after seminars. It's really cool. Yeah.
No, it's cool. No, he does take care of that.
Yeah. And even the singing, right? I mean, I remember in Les Navins, it was karaoke and he was singing, of course, his favorite songs, right? And then I had to sing, and Michelle too, you know, we had to back him up. As
Oh yeah, I missed that.
And I must say, it's the first time I was doing karaoke because I don't like to sing, and not in public, you know. But for Yamada Sensei, I will do it.
No, it's nice. Were you there? Were you at that camp when he and Steve Pilsner sang Elvis Presley song, and it was just like you could feel the audience, everyone in the dining hall, just kind of. It was just such a touching one. Like Steve was on the guitar, and he sang. What's that song? Wise Man, was it Fools Rush In or something? Elvis Presley, and it was just like, it was just beautiful to watch.
Yeah, I think it's always it's very tender when they do something like this, right?
Yeah.
Also the speeches, it's I remember, and I found the relationship between him and Madame Tamura also very very sweet, right? He asked me to look over Madame Tamura when we practiced on the mat, and he was always very caring, right? The people around him, he was always very caring, making sure everybody is having a good time, everyone is you know, I would say safe, but in a way of, you know, like you said, when you're traveling, that everything is organized in a good way for you. And yeah, that's something I really like of Yamada Sensei.
You feel the care. You feel like, he's looking out for you. Yeah, true.
Yeah. So that's really cool. And I hope for many years we can still practice with him, because it feels a little bit like we are talking about him, you know, but he's around. We should enjoy as much and as long as possible, right? And I don't know how you feel, but that's one of the reasons I don't go to Japan, because he's still here, and I rather spend all my money and time going to Yamada Sensei than going to see other teachers in Japan in the Hombu Dojo. I mean, that's always there, right? I mean, there's always an opportunity to go to the Hombu Dojo, but I prefer spending as much as I can with Yamada Sensei. That's why I'm traveling. One of the things, yeah.
Oh, that's nice. I think, I think that's great. You have to you have to appreciate what you have when it's here, kind of thing.
Yeah. Yeah, it's true. Even we are more far away from New York Aikikai. I think it's
Right,
even then it's more important to make sure you have the quality time with him.
right.
Yeah.
When's the last time you spoke to him? Was it at which campus or which seminar was the last one?
The last summer was in Melbourne.
Melbourne.
And,
Oh, Australia. Wow.
yeah, it was a really nice seminar. They really organized it very well, and also a couple of American people like Chris and Christy, and
Okay,
you
sure,
know
sure.
they were there too. So I was not, and Mallory was there too. So it was a bunch of American people. It was really really amazing. I think it's always fun to see them, and and so and also the group, an Australian group. I never met them before. That's one of the cool things of
Yeah,
traveling. Having Yamada Sensei teaching there is it's only for the better, right? I mean, it's even better. I like to go and see other places, but when Yamada Sensei is there, it's even great. And He was yeah, it was a time that also fires, and so it was very hard also. But he still did his teaching. He still
mhm.
make sure that everybody had enough training with him. And I really appreciate that too. And organizing, you know, the people who organize it, they were very appreciative. And organizing a meeting, you say that a party, and the food was really nice. The people, they even gave some gifts, and um, yeah, and even people, by the way, from New York were there as well.
Oh,
Chuck,
wow.
and there were some
Oh,
people.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah, Chuck was there too. So yeah, it was a great seminar. But it was the last time that I saw him on the mat. Yeah,
That was just last year, right? The last, no.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
It was last year before the Corona.
I know.
Yeah.
What was your dojo doing? What were you guys doing right before Corona hit? So you guys,
Well, the first lockdown, we just tried to continue everything, right? The Zoom classes, and then we called every member just to make sure that everyone was okay. And we had a system that some of the also teaching Aikidokas in the dojo were also having a couple of students that they had to check just on a regular basis to make sure that
oh,
there's
wow.
always someone to talk to or be connected to.
That's great.
And then we discuss it, you know, make sure that every student has yeah, that we know what's going on. And then later on we noticed that the Zoom classes were less attended because people already have a lot of time behind the computer,
Yeah.
so they don't want to do that as well in the evenings. So that's one of the reasons that now we're in a lockdown again. We said we're not doing the Zoom class, we just do other activities. We just do social things. So we are, for example, having a movie club, and then, you know, we just watch a movie every week, and then we talk about it. And so that's cool. So we just choose some really nice Japanese or
Mhm.
you know, even Karate Kids. We even got that one because we also have some young people inside
Yeah.
this group as well, and we just talk about it and try to make a relationship between the movie and Aikido. You know,
Yeah, sure.
it's a more social thing,
Just
right?
keep a connection. I know that's great. Yeah, because we had the
Yeah,
same situation. It was like a lockdown, but then like the same thing you said. People were doing Zoom on work, Zoom in school, and then they don't want to
exactly.
go back. And so it's like,
Uh,
it's not. It's I'm very Zoom fatigued, sure. But you got you. But I did know you guys have a very tight group because like you
yeah.
guys wore the same orange T-shirt at the.
Yeah, you know, let's never. We made our own T-shirts.
Yeah, I was like, oh, you're
Yeah,
very.
yeah,
Yeah. And you have a very young group too. That's great. No, that's important. Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, we try, you know, as much as we can, try to connect with other young people. You
Mm.
know, because in some way it's nice, it's good to come together and try to make Aikido a little bit attractive to other young people.
Right, right.
And so that's one of the things that our aim, you know, we try to inspire other people and try to to connect with other students or teachers who think alike and try to make Aikido um, uh, well, I wouldn't say big again because that assumes that it's not big enough, but just to, you know, to raise Aikido up again, you know, with younger people, you know, to
Oh yeah,
make
because you yeah,
it great. Yeah.
'cause
Uh,
we want the art to continue, and so the art for the art to
yeah,
continue,
exactly.
you need
Yeah.
to feed the bottom part out. You know, the bottom like it's Aikido. I think I'm sure the criticism is like it's very such a mushroom. There's so many high rankings up here and not enough young people coming in. But it's refreshing to see like your dojo with all the young people practicing. So yeah,
Hmm.
see more of that. We need to see more of that. Definitely.
Yeah, that will be great. I think that's something that even the world needs, right? I mean, a
Yeah.
little bit more of love and balance, harmony. You can see it even in the Netherlands going on. I think it's something that we can. It's something good. It's something nice to spread out, and but it's also nice that our students feel the same way because our students are also. Um, at least involved in the Aikido. Of course, we have to put a lot of energy in, but then you also get things back, right? I mean, they go to seminars, they raise money to go to the summer camp, and they really being active as well. And I think that's great because then the community can grow in a natural way. It's not some we're not on the top and saying everything what to do. Now
Right.
we try to put energy inside of it and then let it grow, and that's the thing that we think it's nice and good thing to do. Yeah.
Well, I agree. You have to, yeah, you just have to encourage and inspire people to do that as opposed to like
Yeah.
dictate. And it doesn't work that way. Not for young people. So,
No, do you have also young people, or do you teach kids class, right?
well, we do have a kids program. It's been closed because of COVID, but we had a kids program and now I have young people who are. I have members who are very good at teaching the kids, and I've done
Uh-huh.
enough teaching kids.
You're done with it. You're
I'm
already
done. I did.
teaching.
Kind of a funny story. My last time teaching, hopefully it's appropriate, but I taught kids class in Chicago, and it was something you tell kids, okay, roll across the mat. And so as they roll across the mat, I go, there was something on the mat as one of the kid rolled by. So I reached down, picked it up, I go, oh, some little kids have accidents on, because they have accidents. So
Yeah, of
and
course, the
yeah,
kids.
I complained and told Sensei said, okay, you don't have to do kids class anymore. But I'm not very good at kids class. So yeah, it's a
but
talent. I don't have
but
that.
it would be nice, if you come in once in a while and just throw people around, because I hear that demonstration works well for the kids as well, right? I mean,
Yeah, to inspire them, they come.
inspiration.
Right,
You're a
right.
great inspirator, right? So yeah,
Yeah.
that's nice. So, but it's nice that you have some people who wants to teach kids classes
Yeah,
too.
I'm trying to encourage that. We need to have that because you want it to grow and and the young people give energy to the mat.
Yeah, yeah, that's I think that's one of the I mean, it's not necessary, but it needs the energy. So you don't have to be young, but you need to be enthusiastic and know how to, you know, uh, to inspire them in a way of pushing them and and to get searching for their own limits and all those stuff. It's not just teaching. It's more than that. It's just kids need more than just a technique. They
Right.
just
Yeah.
need to get rid of the energy. They need to know how to work with themselves. Who am I, and all those things. It's different work.
Yeah. How do you think do we inspire the young people? Because I think young people may come in, but they don't stay or as opposed, because the Aikido, it's, I've had conversation with other people about this, and if you try to compare yourself to Aikido, if you try to put Aikido as MMA or this type of martial art, and
Hmm.
then if you do that, then you lose the point of what Aikido is, I think. And
That's
so
true.
the idea is no, focus on what Aikido is like it's a traditional martial art, but
Hmm.
it's a way for this as opposed to don't try compare it. And then I think it
Not
gets
working.
I have issues with that when people try to say compare this and that. Sure, it's effective for this, but I don't know. I'm going off on a tangent, but I don't know how do we how do you justify Aikido to young people?
Well, I don't know. I mean, it's not like I have the full answer. I think it has to do with more things than just one. It's not just one thing that you say and then they come in and say, hey, okay, I can do it. It is. But I do notice that social life is, of course, very important at the moment of the young teenager. So if you can combine, if you can bind them to the dojo, if you can have a good relationship with them, you will have it for a lifetime, more or less, right?
Yeah.
So I can see, for example, we have some youths who are not practicing right now. I think some of the people, if I tell the names, they maybe recognize from seminars, like Nienke. She's one of our students, and she trained as a kid with us as a youth till Shodan, and then she quit. But you know, it doesn't matter. We still once in a while we talk to her, and even when I was in Sydney, I knew she was there, so I said, you know, you want to meet her, and then we just out of blue, you can meet, you talk, and it's like the old days. And
Mm.
I always have this feeling like even now, Aikido doesn't fit in her life. For sure, she has some good memories, some good life lessons that she took from the classes. And at some point, maybe she or her family, doesn't matter, will come back to Aikido and say, okay, that was good for me. I had good experience, so now I want you to continue, or the kids to start Aikido. So I try not to think that they have to be like me, you know, like starting Aikido and then live with Aikido the rest of your life. I hope so, but that's I mean, it's maybe impossible because everybody has his own way in
Yeah,
life.
sure, yeah.
But,
You get from what you take from Aikido what you put into it. So it's no better than anyone else. Like, you know, what
no,
they get is no better than you, and what you do is no better than, yeah. I think
yeah,
that's, yeah.
but the community is one of the strong things in Aikido. I think that's um, it will bring people back, or it will spread out in a good, positive way. That they will give that to their friends and to their families, and at least that's a little bit what I see. And even we have, yeah, of course, during the years, a lot of people also leave the dojo, but we still have a good connection with most of them.
Yeah, yeah,
So that's nice because you're building community. Yeah.
yeah. No, it's interesting.
Is it the same with the Iaido? Do you have the same feeling with Aikido and Iaido? You have same
Uh,
experience?
Yaido is more of a, for me, Yaido is more of a individual thing. It's like with Aikido, I'm learning about myself through others. With
Mm-hmm.
Yaido, but if for me with like with Aikido, you have uke and nage, so you need a uke and you need a nage to cultivate yourself. You learn. But then for Yaido, it's more of a solo training. So like it's if I'm not doing well, it's just because it's me. It's and so it's just I'm just working on practicing by myself. So it's which is also very important because you have to have some self reflect, like personal time, solo time to kind of reflect.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, and I don't know. I don't know if I don't know if I answered what you asked, but I just like
It doesn't
different
matter,
things.
but
Yeah,
it is nice to hear the difference.
yeah, things for me. Yeah. No, I think for me, just I want to iterate that Aikido is for like community and for everyone, like, and but also like it's an individual journey. And
Yeah.
I just uh, like in comparing saying Aikido is good or effective, I just remember for myself thinking I chose Torres and say not because of his technique,
Mm-hmm.
it's something about his character drew me there. I chose Kanai Sensei, even though the technique was very different. There was something about that person, and same thing for Yamada Sensei, same for Osasa. It's for me these masters that inspire me. Aikido made them more of who they are, and
Mm-hmm.
that's what I want. I'm just trying to figure out, not to sound hokey, but I'm like, for me, Aikido. I'm just trying to understand myself more through Aikido, and that's why I guess I do it, not to learn how to fight or anything like that.
No, I agree. I think you know what keeps you going. I think that's one of the first questions. But
Yeah.
to add, I think I totally agree what you're saying. I think that's also one of the things that keeps you going. The inner growth of your own personality, your own life, and
Mm.
the way you look at things. Yeah, definitely. I mean, I don't have to add anything to what you
Oh,
just said.
you added that. We all added to the curve. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's great. And maybe just the final thing is, I hope, I really hope that it would be nice to that people even connect even more. You know, just on the Aikido dojo level to connect and to build something amazing for our young generation. I think I really hope that Aikido will continue spreading this out because it affected you, it affected me in a very positive way. So I really hope that we can continue and connect with people also trying to make Aikido nice and beautiful for the future.
Ah, that's true. That would be nice. That would be
Yeah, yeah, definitely.